Hey, what's up, everybody? 10 minutes for this one. Same issue. If you watch my other video, you know. But, so I got some stuff on my mind as usual. Figured I'd just toss the phone on, see what happens. Dwayne Wade. I'm still seeing memes. This is not new news, obviously, but Dwayne Wade and his son, or as she identifies as his daughter, you know, he's supporting his kid. He wants to identify as a female. It's a little early, I'm not gonna lie. For me as a man, I do think that it's a bit early for the young man or the young lady in this case to have taken such a strong position on her identity. You know what I mean? I think it's early. I think for me, I'm afraid in this child's regard that she is trying to live up to a movement, and the father and mom, Gabby and Wade, are trying to support the child. And I think this is now crossed over into the child trying to live up to what that child's responsibility would be to the community. And I just think that's too much for that young person. I really do. I think it's too much. So that's where I stand on that. If I knew Dwayne Wade, I would say keep an eye on your child to make sure that they're still happy with the decision that they're making. Don't be afraid to undo all that you guys have created. Don't allow your child to take on the weight of the community. Because if she decides she wants to go back to identifying as a male, she may be apprehensive about what the ramifications are for doing so. She might feel like she's letting people down by not seeing this all the way through. So I would just caution Dwayne Wade in that regard. That's my personal opinion. Just support the child, but don't lose sight of the fact that the child now may be feeling pressure to live up to the support that you're providing the child. And that can be a real dangerous thing, especially since they're famous. It's different. So that's what I would say to Gabby and Wade if they were to meet me and have a conversation with me about it. But I'm sick of my community, black community, and the homophobia in it. I'm sick of it. And y'all know, if you've seen some of my old videos, I have issues. I've spoken some things that I don't think the LGBT community, I hope I'm saying that correctly. I had it down at one point, but I hope I'm saying it correctly, would be proud of. I don't think they would be happy with some of the stuff that I've said in the past. Some of the stuff that I still feel to this very second. But I don't think people should be separated based on their ways of living or their identity or any of that. I don't think they should be kept from rights. I don't think they should be kept from being able to get married. I don't think they should be kept from being able to have children or to adopt children or whatever. I feel like equality is a good starting point for handling all human beings everywhere on the planet. So equality, opportunities, and support is what any and every community needs on most levels, except for the racists. I don't know what the fuck they need, and I don't care. But with that being said, we have got to stop being so damn homophobic. And you ask why? It's not because I believe being gay is a good thing or a thing that God loves or anything like that. If you're a Christian person, you believe otherwise. But let's stop prioritizing God's wishes and trying to sort things out for him if you're a believer in God. That's what a lot of black people are trying to do. The first thing they say when talking about gay folks is, it ain't right in God's eyes. Neither is you hating somebody for their identity. Neither is you going and doing this and that and the third. Whatever millions of different sins that we have, trying to prioritize those sins in a way that fits our agenda, I don't think it's a good thing at all for us to be doing. We gotta stop that. You know, a lot of times we don't really hate people. We may feel icky in watching them do what they do or being around them doing what they do. They may make us feel uncomfortable. But the majority of people, the passion behind their disdain for gay people is not natural. It's similar to racism because it's something that's instilled in you from childhood. It's something that's spoke about in your homes. And that hatred is sometimes something that people don't think themselves through. They don't do the critical thinking necessary to say, do I feel this way, or am I just adapting to what my family feels or what people have told me all my life, and now I'm too lazy of a thinker, too stupid of a person to adjust my thinking or try to figure out if I'm right or wrong in my thinking. A lot of these people just My brother say that shit's wrong. Your brother said this shit wrong. My parents told me that shit was wrong when I was 3 and 4 and didn't allow me to be that way, didn't allow me to even look in that direction. So as I grow up, I'm super passionate because it's wrong. No, you're super passionate because it was given to you. You didn't think that shit when you were a child before they told you that shit. For me, I just said, ugh, that's icky, that's nasty. Ugh, I don't want to see that. That's my natural reaction to two dudes kissing. Just keep it a buck. That's my natural reaction without anybody having any conversation to me about what is right, what's wrong, what God wants, what the man wants, what helps us, all that bullshit, everything that everybody says about it. That's just my natural response. But after that, it's just human beings doing what they do, bruh. Let them be over there, let them do their shit. Why that affect you? And this conversation, I've heard intelligent people have conversations about the demasculation of African Americans. It's a very, very real conversation. It's a real thing, and I don't disagree. There's something to that. There's a lot to that, and it's real. However, there are other ways of making yourself look bad, not just putting on a dress. My guy, you being hateful toward that dude wearing a dress makes you look even worse than you would if you were wearing that dress yourself. And that is what needs to be said to every single one of us in this community. If you think being gay makes a person look bad, hating them because they're gay makes them look worse. Makes you look worse. And that's the realest thing I can say. It ain't got shit to do with right or wrong, left or right. It just has to do with what you're reinforcing into the world from your energy. You want people to stop being racist. You want them to take all that they've been given in their families, raised with this shit sometimes as toddlers, to hate your ass because you black. And yet you take that same hatred for gay people that you learned in your household from your parents, and you take that shit out into the world and you push it upon others. How are you much different than them? And we can say, well, there's different levels of shit, racism, white people have done this, that's very true. There's no doubt that there's different levels to this shit, but it's still the same action. Taking information from your family, from your parents that you didn't vet yourself once you got old enough to do so, and you took it out into the world and you didn't change when people asked you to. Guess what? You're them. You're them, bro. You're them. When you sit up here and be homophobic as a black man, you are applying the same formula that a racist motherfucker applies when he takes that shit from his family and goes out into the world with that shit. And when you say you ain't gonna listen, you're doing exactly what he's doing. Because he ain't listening to us tell him that we matter and all this shit. You're just saying that being gay is wrong, so therefore I don't want to hear it. Y'all nasty. I don't fuck with you. You're them. You are literally mimicking the oppressor and using gay as a different topic as opposed to black being a different topic. We're sitting up here asking the oppressor to do things that we're not willing to do, to change, to unlearn bullshit that was given to them as toddlers and generationally, to go out into the world and see people who are different than us and let them be themselves, accept them for who they are, hear their cries for help, etc., etc., etc. I don't have to be a part of your community to want to see human basic rights given to you. If I deny you those basic rights, guess who I'm being? You niggas need to hear this shit. You need to hear this clearly. You can't run from this. Just like we don't want them to run from that, we can't run from this. It's not your job to say what's right and wrong. That's God's job if you believe in God. And if you don't believe in God, well, you're going to have a war on your hands telling people what it is they can and cannot do in this world. We don't have that power. And shouldn't have it, because no one man should. We're not responsible enough, intelligent enough, knowledgeable enough within ourselves to make those calls, man. There are many, 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 many sins that we allow, including pedophilia, within our communities and within our homes. We know this shit is happening. We know this shit is happening. People we know touching their kids. We don't stop them. We don't do shit. We know that this is going on. But we mad at gay folks? Sometimes these kids, they turn into these folks because we don't stop the abuse from happening. We can be mad at the white man for a lot of shit. But there are certain things that we reinforce within ourselves, and regardless if it's his fault for why we started, it ain't his fault for why we've kept it up. In this fucking homophobia in our community, people, it's time to stop this shit. And for God's sakes, somebody please let them kids out of them ICE camps. I'm gonna say this shit every day till y'all get tired of it. Get them kids out of there. My name is BDF44. I'm very passionate about what I'm saying. I love us, but we need to do better. BDF.